I think a lot of things have changed in the AI space in the last 12 months.
Very important and also sometimes difficult to achieve because vibe coding takes you to 95% of the application, but the remaining 5% gets lost.
If you're not starting from an actual problem, you might get in the wrong direction.
I personally think that models in general will soon become a commodity. Like just like you use your AWS server.
How much time I'm saving people or how much money I'm making people thanks to my tool will definitely tell you whether you have a good idea.
But when you said that you did not spend enough time validating, I think this itself is a validation, right? Quitting your job, starting blog SEO, and to now, what has been the hardest?
It's a great question. I've been, I was talking about, I was building an email sequence recently.
We're going to dive deep today into what goes into building a SaaS application with an AI SaaS application in today's world. So, Vincent, you've built AI systems at scale, right? And now you're founding Blog SEO. What's fundamentally different about building an AI SaaS today versus, let's say, 12 or 18 months back?
Yeah, so I think a lot of things have changed in the AI space in the last 12 months. One of the trends we're seeing right now is we're progressively moving from AI workflows to more of AI agents, where the AI model has more power over like decision making and choosing the next steps to take. And I think one of the good thing about the AI space is the market is getting more and more educated about AI. So it becomes much easier from a communication and marketing standpoint to deliver messages efficiently. I also think one of the trends is that the space is getting more and more crowded because the barrier to entry has become lower with the vibe coding wave and everything. And so I think it's very important to focus on the quality of the app you make today if you don't want to, if you want to stand out from the noise.
Correct. Yes. With vibe coding, I think quality becomes very important and also sometimes difficult to achieve because vibe coding takes you to 95% of the application, but the remaining 5% gets lost. And
Yeah.
actually, but let's say if someone wants to build an AI SaaS today, right? What is what is one reality check which you would want to give them?
Yeah, I think it's a very common advice you hear, but if you're not starting from an actual problem, you might get in the wrong direction pretty quickly. So I think you can't really build an AI SaaS. You're kind of building a solution to a problem, and so you should focus more on the problem you're trying to solve rather than the AI, which is more a mean to an end. And if AI is the best way to solve the problem you're trying to solve, I think it's great, and you should go with AI. But I don't think it should be the focus of what you're trying to achieve. So I think that would be that would be the thing, and a mean to an end rather than your main focus.
Amazing. So if someone wants to build an AI SaaS today, then the idea should not be to build an AI SaaS. The idea should be to solve a problem, and
Yeah.
they can use AI to solve that problem. That's perfectly fine. But if they're actually building their whole thing around AI, then it's very difficult that it's going to work, right? Because then
Yeah,
ultimately, right,
I think you shouldn't force AI into trying to find the solution to the problem you're trying to solve. I think it's more like an enhancer and a very useful toolbox you can use to solve problems.
absolutely, that makes a lot of sense. So there are a lot of people, and as you said, there's a lot of noise in the market today. There are a lot of people who are building applications, but there are also a lot more who are now, either as a side project or they're leaving their jobs to build these applications. What is the biggest misconception people have about building AI applications today?
Um, yeah, so I think a lot of people underestimate the work it takes to actually build a meaningful and quality product. I always hear, and I think you've heard it too, like people saying, "Oh, this tool is just a chat GPT wrapper," right? And
Right.
I think, yeah, there might be some tools like that, but I think like people don't see there's a lot of data engineering that goes behind the scenes to actually make a good AI system work. This is often overlooked, and so if you're just making prompts, you're actually doing like 5% of the job. What's
Right.
very hard is connecting everything, making sure you have quality data, the good context to make the best output possible. And so I think like a lot of people underestimate the amount of engineering required to make great AI systems. And I was victim of it myself. Like when I started blog SEO, I thought it would be super easy to do. Like I really underestimated like the work that goes into building integrations, making sure the data is in the right format and everything. And so yeah, I think having good, solid data engineering, software engineering practices is the base on which you need to build to do a good AI system today. So I think it's often overlooked.
I'm sure it's not that easy as
Yeah,
it seems. It's it's difficult once you get in the deep of it. Once you get your hands dirty and once you're actually doing things, that's when things start getting difficult, and you start understanding that building an application, vibe coding an MVP might be very easy, but building an application which on in production, which actually works, which solves a problem, which actually generates revenue, is a different ball game
yeah,
altogether.
yeah.
And you're very right in that. So let's get a bit technical. Walk us through your tech stack and also your decisions for that tech stack, what you used for blog SEO.
Yeah, so I think one of the when it comes to like choosing tools and
Hmm.
also like something which is a core problem like every founder faces, which is what you should delegate and what you should focus on and internalize. I really like this quote from I think it's attributed to Jeff Bezos, but he says you should what makes your beer taste better. And so like you gotta focus your efforts on what actually makes your product better and not the rest. And so
Right.
this is my philosophy when it comes to choosing a tech stack. I want it to work for me and my users, not the other way around. And so
Hmm.
of course you can do a lot of things yourself, like hosting servers, do very technical stuff to like save on server costs. But I think if you want to move fast, you got to make pragmatic decisions where you try and outsource the work that doesn't matter for your end users. And so
100%.
based on that, like my number one focus for me is making sure the UI is very good, it's responsive, it's smooth, and also the output of the content I'm generating with blog SEO match the expectation of my users. And so for that, I basically try and use the most plug and play cloud systems out there. So I'm using Vercel, which is widely adopted to host my web app,
Right.
and I'm also using OpenAI's API because these are very easy to like integrate. They have the most features, and um, like I can actually tweak them how I want to very easily to make sure I have the best quality output possible and not like focused on hosting everything myself or having GPUs, which would be a nightmare to
Of
handle.
course. Right. No, I think that's fair. So you said OpenAI, using OpenAI is easy, right? But there are also a lot other companies which, and I personally think that models in general will soon become a commodity. Like just like you use your AWS servers, right? There'll be at least 20 different models offering 20 different kinds of, like 20 different companies offering 20 different kinds of models at 20 different kinds of pricing, and eventually it'll just become a very small and simple decision. And let's talk a bit about your experience. You've actually processed billions of data points at Hoko. Is that how you pronounce it, or is it Joko?
Yeah, so I, I think it's more
Joko?
Joko,
Okay.
yeah. But depending on where
Right.
you are, people pronounce it.
Right. So, but how do you architect for that scale? From day one.
Yeah, so the first thing is I must say it was not a one man job. Like I was with a team of two other
Right.
people, which were very good. And so I think when you're working at that scale, the most important part is not jumping too early into implementing it, and because you can't afford to make a mistake and rebuild the whole system because you have a lot of constraints very early on. So this was quite unusual at the time for the company, but I think if I remember well, we spent at least 2 months just like writing down the architecture, having everyone review it, making
Hmm.
sure we're heading into the right direction before actually starting to build it. So, and also one of the things which really proved paramount to making sure the system worked at the end was actually, it sounds stupid, but actually talking to people who had done the job before or similar thing and worked at that kind of scale, because this this is very expert knowledge and it's very hard to get it right on the first try.
Right.
There's a lot of things you don't see coming beforehand, and so talking to experts in the industries who had done a similar job before really proved useful there. And so yeah.
So, how does someone validate before building? How does someone validate whether an idea actually makes sense? Because the landscape is changing so quickly. You don't know what works and what not. So, how did you validate it? And what advice would you want to give that for someone who's building something like that? To how do they validate their idea?
Yeah, so to be honest, I didn't spend a lot of time on validation for blog SEO, so you could say I got a bit lucky on that. I still validated the ID, but yeah, for the context, blog SEO, the ID came up to me because I was scratching my own itch. I've built
Mm-hmm.
2 websites before, and I realized I was spending a lot of time on writing SEO content, which was super time consuming. And I knew it had great return on investment because the good thing about SEO is you write evergreen content once and it ranks forever, basically. So it's a compounding effort, which works very well, but takes a lot of time. So I figured out if I manage to automate this, it will work great. And I just talked to one SEO agency founder who told me that it was like his team spent a lot of time on drafting and writing content, and it was where there were the most inefficiencies right now in the tools that are available on the SEO market. So that's why I thought the idea was a good one.
Right.
But yeah, I guess you always need to make sure you're solving the problem and that you're like real people are actually experiencing the problem. So you gotta talk to your customers, of course, and make sure you can also make a good offer out of it, right? I think thinking ahead about the business model and saying, okay, how much time I'm saving people or how much money I'm making people thanks to my tool will definitely tell you whether you have a good idea and that it will be easy to market or not.
Hmm. Correct. Right. And how do you come up with like a good offer? How do you test like whether my offer actually works or not? What is your
Yeah, so I like there's a famous influencer. I think he is called Alex Ormozzi. He has a good book on that. I'm a big
Mhm.
fan, but I like he has an equation for this. He says a good offer is the dream outcome times the likelihood it will happen, and you divide this by the time it takes to reach the outcome and the effort of and sacrifice the people have to provide. So the dream outcome would be ranking number one on Google for me, for instance.
Right.
The likelihood of it happening is basically my testimonials, my social proof, and showing actually that it works. And the time it takes would be probably around 1 month or 3 weeks, basically. And the efforts and sacrifice is basically zero because I'm automating everything. So that would be basically the cost they have to pay to access the tool. So I think it's a good framework for evaluating an offer, and it really has helped me, pruning the bad ideas I had and doubling down on blog SEO because I knew this would be a good offer based on that equation
Hmm.
at least.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, but when you said that, you did not spend enough time validating, I think this itself is a validation, right? If you can figure this out, if you can fill this equation out and you're confident about this equation, then that makes that's itself is a good validation point. That's amazing. So while in your journey from quitting your job, starting blog SEO, and to now, what has been the hardest part? It can be technical, it can be non-technical. But what's been the most difficult part for you?
Um, yeah, I'd say so there are technical challenges, of course, but you're gonna overcoming them eventually. So
Right.
I think the hardest part is probably building a very strong conviction because um, there will be people supporting you on the journey, but I think like a lot of time you're alone, and a lot of
Mm.
people also won't support you, or like um, if you're building in public and trying to build something great, you basically know you're succeeding if you start having haters, basically. So I think
Right.
building a very strong conviction is very important because some people won't approve what you're doing, and so if you don't know why you're doing it and that you're not convinced you're doing the great thing, the good thing, then you might end up doubting, and so you risk quitting too early, or when it gets hard, also you might question whether it's a good thing that you started this or not. So I think that would be the most important part, like making sure yourself you're convinced this is the best idea ever, and so then you do everything you can to like make it work.
Right, right. That's very true. Yeah, conviction is, I think, very important, and yeah, that's it's tough to always be convinced of the fact that it's gonna work, and
Yeah.
of course, building in public adds a new layer to it. But for our listeners, a lot of them might not actually know what building in public is. So, would you mind shedding some light over that?
Yeah. So I think the idea is simple. Is like sharing your journey as you're building the product and the company itself. So it's about like sharing milestones you reach, learnings along the way also. So a bit what we're doing now, actually, I guess. And yeah, like that's pretty much like being very transparent about what you focus on and why, and it has many benefits because it gives a face, to what you're building. I think like trust is very important when you're doing business, and so showing that there's someone behind the tool actually creates a lot of connection with your users, and can also improve a lot the top line of your business. So I think it has a lot of benefits. It also a way to like a bit give back to the community about what you've learned and helping people who want to start but have doubts. So I think there's only benefits to do so.
True, true. That's amazing. Yeah, and I think for someone who's starting out, there are lots of communities like on Reddit and on Twitter, or you can also just use LinkedIn and just start putting your journey out. That really helps. That
Yeah.
gives a real behind the scenes picture. And I think people, in general, it's you see a product and then you just evaluate for the product. But if you see the founder, you see the journey, then that's a completely different story, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. But we have one question from Vaibhav that, from a technical implementation standpoint, how can we optimize our website architecture and content structure to rank well in AI powered search results? I think he's talking from a technical SEO point of view. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so it's a great question. I've been, I was talking about I was building an email sequence recently, and I'm actually talking about that in the email because I think it's an important point. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's not so easy to like always know what you need to do. Um, um, like they're the basic SEO stuff, which should work also fine for the LLMs. But there's a very interesting paper which was written 1 year ago. It's called GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, where they basically give tips you can use to improve your search ranking, specifically on LLMs, so strategies that work well for AI-based search systems. And a few things they mentioned is that so like all the traditional SEO still applies. So you need to have an accessible website with a nice structure, normal links, no JavaScript everywhere, doing the right directions and everything. That works well for the LLMs. But then in the content itself, what works well for LLMs is adding actual statistics, that external statistics showing that you're actually citing your sources also work well. Actual quotations from experts or people who are known in the space you're trying to tackle works well. And the last thing, if I remember well, sorry, I forgot, but yeah, statistics, quotations, expert quotes, and also some people say that the length of the content
Hmm.
actually matters, but I think it's kind of getting corrected by the AI providers right now, so I wouldn't take that into account.
Right. Amazing. That's. I think those are important things. Those, but do you think that's almost the same for SEO? Like, there's not much difference, right? Then for optimizing for Google versus optimizing for AI.
I think there are some different. I think there's like 80% in common, to be
Hmm.
honest, and then there's like 20% which is
Which is
different between traditional and um, GEO, as they say,
GEO,
or
right?
AEO. Um, yeah, so yeah, a lot in common, but some tweaks you have to do.
Thanks. Right. Amazing. So, Vincent, this is our last listeners. So, if you have one advice to give to, build their AI application, what would that advice be?
Yeah, so I think yeah, maybe I'll repeat myself a bit, sorry, but I think yeah, the conviction part would be the most important one, and
Right.
because that's what like make sure you keep going in the toughest time. And I had multiple times, I do Reddit posts or on Hacker News, people they are super harsh there, and like you feel like quitting if you're not sure of what you're doing and you want to keep going on that. So yeah, that would be my best advice. Like make sure you're super convinced about what you're doing, and if you're not, you need to build that conviction somehow. So like focus on that first, and then you can go anywhere you want, I think.
Amazing, amazing. It has been wonderful talking to you, Vincent. Thank you so much for the valuable advice. Talking to someone who's started from scratch and now, got an AI SaaS application out, building about it, talking about it, building in public. There's so many things which, people can learn, just from following your journey. And I'm sure our listeners also had some very valuable advice and, had some learnings from you. Thank you so much for your time,
Well,
for coming to ChaiNet.
have a
And
good yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I hope we can talk soon.
absolutely, absolutely. And to our listeners, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. And please follow us on LinkedIn. You can follow Vincent on LinkedIn as well. You can see his journey. You can subscribe to his email newsletter. All the best and wishing you a wonderful day.